It's time once again for another thrilling episode of Markout Radio. For the next hour, sit back, pull the stick out of your ass, and enjoy. Be warned though, smarks and internet know-it-alls will be offended, annoyed, and generally pissed off at what's about to happen to your ear holes. You've been warned. Now, Markout Radio.
Try that again. All right, welcome to Markout Radio. It's your boy Dark Fox here with you this week. As usual, for episode 88, for May 19, 1997, out of the Asheville Civic Center, Asheville, North Carolina. Hosted again by Tony Schiavone, Larry Zbyszko, and Bobby the Brain Heenan. Now, before we get into Nitro, let's talk a little bit about Slamboree 97. Now, again, this is a holdover pay-per-view show name, and frankly, all of the graphics packages were dated, even for the 90s. Still, it's Slamboree. This was excellent. The main event managed to live up to the hype, made sitting through weeks of Nitro's mediocre booking worth it. I gave it 4 out of 5. As WCW taps back into what makes what was giving the NWO heat in the first place. Now, this Nitro is the 49th win in a row with a 3.6 to Raw's 3.1, drawing 4,333 fans and a $69,324 gate for another short Nitro. As the NBA Finals are wrapping up, no idea how many people actually paid to be there. Thank you. Honestly, good grief. And no merch sales numbers. Again, with you, the fucking thank you. Jesus. Now the show kicks off with a video of Flair, Piper, and Green raising their arms in triumph at Slamboree while Tony exclaims that WCW has defeated the NWO. A little bit early for that. After the intro vignette, we go right into the ring where Okerlund welcomes the fans to the show. Before Flair's music hits, he heads to the ramp. And we end up having a Flair Okerlund ramp promo. Flair starting off with a cheap pop that even Mick Foley would have been proud of. I'm not quite sure why these don't go along, but anyways. After a brief promo, Syxx comes out to interrupt Flair, challenges Flair to a match in the main event, and after Flair earns WCW yet another FCC fine, they fight over to the announce position, and Syxx scurries away. Now, Syxx gets much better at promos, but for now, he's fairly bland. I think even he'd admit that. Steven Regal, in the first match of the night, defeats Prince Iaukea to retain the WCW World Television Championship. Gave it a 2.5 out of 5. Iaukea with new gold vinyl tights. Regal comes out with his newly modified robe that he debuted last night on Slamboree. Hunter's robe has now had the frilly sleeves ripped off, which now apparently means that Regal is a badass, right? Yeah, exactly. Lightning quick job match for a kid that they were really pushing a couple of months ago in Iaukea, and this one just pretty much ends the way you would expect it to with a Regal stretch. Back from break, we get a full video recap of the Glacier Mortis match from Slamboree, including the save by Ernest the Cat Miller. No particular reason why it's there, because that's pretty much all we get out of that this week. So thanks for that, I guess. Masahiro Chono defeats Squire David Taylor. I gave that 2.5 out of 5. I completely forgot that Chono was NWO because he's never around. Now, he does rock the NWO colors in Japan and is the leader and founder of NWO Japan. Now, granted, there's like 3 of them, but still. He gets hurt later on this month, and the Great Muta steps into his role, and he oversees a huge influx of members, swelling their number to 6. It's a big fucking... It's a big stable for Japan. Normally their stables are like 3 to 5, but anyways. They counted all of the American members in their member numbers, but they were in and out of Japan so rarely that really only Norton and Wallstreet could be considered actual members of NWO Japan. Wallstreet, later on in the episode here of Nitro, will come out not wearing the NWO shirt. We're going to get there, but in Japan, he was part of NWO Japan, so... Not quite sure how that works, but it works in wrestling. Chono's finisher is the STF, which is essentially the Regal stretch. So great booking here from Sullivan and Bischoff, who seem to have this bitch on autopilot again, which is just awesome. Thanks a lot for that.
0.0.
There's no excuse for this kind of booking, by the way. It's just fucking lazy. There shouldn't be 2 of the same finishers in the same show. Never mind back-to-back in the first 2 matches of the night. That's just moronic, lazy bullshit. Did they perhaps forget that Regal and Chono have the same fucking finisher? No idea. But Regal's good enough that they could have got him to do something else so that Chono could have it, because maybe there was a issue communicating. I don't know. But what the fuck is Regal doing the Regal stretch while Chono's only finisher or only way to end matches is effectively STF? It's not a named finisher, but it's the only thing he fucking uses. Anyways, Gene does a rant promo after this with Sonny Ono, and apparently Sonny Ono's got a nightmare in store for Chono. I would be scared. I'd really be scared. Well, maybe not. Back from break, we get a vignette from JJ Dillon that Nick Patrick's been reinstated as the WCW ref, and he's on a 30-day probation. Then Tony throws to this again, which was awesome producing from the executive producer of WCW Monday Nitro. Another grand slam out of the park from Eric. Solid gold, buddy. Solid gold. Scotty Riggs defeats Michael Wallstreet. I get that one 2.5 out of 5. Kenny Powers, Nick Patrick, I keep confusing the two, reffing this match, rocking his sweet fucking porn stash. Wallstreet's NWO contract gimmick is actually being observed this week, unlike last week. So he's wearing an anti-WCW shirt. I prefer this gimmick if they just let him use the Mike Rotunda name again. I don't really understand why he needs to be Michael Wallstreet. I don't really feel like this is enough of a fuck you to Vince that you stole IRS. Like, it's just no offense to Mike Rotunda. He was a fantastic worker and his kids are fantastic workers, but I don't think that he's of the level where you could basically have Michael Wallstreet come out here but remember, before he was VK Wallstreet for Vincent Kennedy Wallstreet. So here's the thing. I don't think Mike Rotunda is high enough on the wrestling fuck you meter to keep doing this. So why not just have him be Mike Rotunda? The Wallstreet gimmick's dumb. He doesn't do anything that says he's Michael Wallstreet anymore. He comes out in fucking fatigues now, black fatigues, but still. Anyways, the go home for this match was fairly sloppy. The concept was a good idea, so I will give them that. Rotunda and Patrick just botched and flopped their way through it. And as if that wasn't enough punishment, we now get a slow-mo recap of this messy-ass finish. Other than this being a fairly decent wrestling match, that go home is what cost this match most of its points. After this, we get a Gene Ramp promo with Mark Martin and Ric Flair putting over the Valvoline and Turner Sports NASCAR team, and they're going to be giving away a stock car. Again, this is a little bit like the monster truck. I'm not quite sure on the legalities of this. I believe that there was a cash alternative. I don't think that even in America you can drive a stock car on the road. So I guess it would basically be in a person's garage, which is fine, but I don't think that you could race a NASCAR stock car in your local stock car, I don't know what you want to call it, league, racing series, because I don't think that the NASCAR specs are a little bit different than your local stuff, but whatever. I mean, I guess if you're a big enough NASCAR fan, maybe you want to have the Valvoline Cummins car in your fucking garage. I don't know. People collect weird shit. What can I tell you? Now it's that time again. It is the golden voice bastard Lee Marshall calling in from the production van, from Nashville, Tennessee with a 1-800-COLLECT road report. Please let him have a good Heenan burn in there. Please. It's been weeks of fucking duds. Unfortunately, apparently he is an Elvis fan and he performs a rendition of Weasel Hotel, which, yes, folks, is another dud. Now, Heenan does have a good comeback here with the wrong guy is in the ground to pull the nose up on this segment. But this segment has been dying a miserable death for weeks. And I am a gigantic fucking mark for Lee Marshall. So this is painful. It's painful stuff.
Now you start using your head. That's
really?
That's 3 feet above your ass. Are you crying? Are you crying? Are you crying? There's no crying. There's no crying in baseball.
Thank you. All right, the Steiner brothers, Rick and Scott Steiner, defeat Jeff Jarrett and Steve Mongo McMichael. I gave this one 4 out of 5. Scotty was always a big dude, but he's getting seriously huge over the last few months. And while he's lost a bit of that explosive speed and those Frankensteiners are becoming more and more rare, He's really coming into his own, working the crowd. The fans at some point during the match here start chanting for Reggie White as Mongo and Rick Steiner fight. Scotty takes a bump over the top turnbuckle as Jarrett comes in with the Halliburton for your go home. Green comes out, and despite being on Team Flair last night, he nails Mongo with it, and then Rick picks up the pinfall victory for the Steiners while the ref looks right at the briefcase while counting the pin. So, solid wrestling logic being applied here again. Thank you. Post-match, Mongo demands for the cameraman to follow him to the back as he goes hunting for Kevin Green. We fade to black for commercials, though, of course, because the cameras don't have long enough cords to get there. Come on. You can't fault them for that. Jesus, even the WWE doesn't do that shit. Anyways, back from break, we get to see footage of the Green McMichael face-off in the bathroom/locker room. After this, your main event is Ric Flair defeating Syxx via disqualification. I give that 3.5 out of 5. Syxx comes out with one strap down on a singlet, ready for those chops already. Flair is rocking his Rose Bowl robe down to the ring. Hall and Nash come out, of course, after this match has been going on for like 2 minutes. Flair eats an outsider's edge from Hall as the bell keeps on ringing. Then the in-ring announcer's proclamation that Flair has won the match is drowned out by the crowd reacting to this, which is excellent. Nash, to his credit, delivers a very safe jackknife powerbomb on Flair, who is very careful with that back of his. Even so, he works the back all the way to the back. Now, back from break, Bischoff comes out to put the crowd to sleep with his killer, evolving dad bod. He cuts a promo on Piper and then on Sting. Now, despite Eric dragging this out too long, once he says the key phrase of slap the paint off your face, we get another iconic moment in WCW history as Sting comes through the mat. He Scorpion death drops Bischoff and the crowd erupts. Now, the show fades to black as Sting is going to lift Bischoff up for another. Now, off the air, Sting does deliver another Scorpion death drop, and then the NWO storm the ring as Sting fights them off briefly. He is quickly joined by Luger and Giant, who beat the NWO to the back. Norton carries Bischoff away on his shoulder. The crowd went ballistic for this. Sting left the ring and disappeared into the crowd, leaving Luger and Giant to pose for a bit in the ring instead of, doing any kind of high fives or celebrations in the ring. And the crowd, of course, was, like I said, going crazy for this. Now, because we only rate the live show here, don't get me wrong, the Sting moment was excellent, and a lot of companies try to recreate that reaction with their own through the ring moments. Some of them are really quite good, like the Fiend's return, for example. Some fall short, like the time they tried to do it with the Boogeyman, and it was just, it was objectively awful, but they can't all be gold. Anyways, Nitro itself started off kind of shitty. The last two matches, one of which was more of a promo than a match, were good, pulled the nose up. The final promo, which I still hate when shows ended on a promo, was boring as fuck until Sting came out. I can only hope that the only reason Eric talked for so long was to gobble up some excess time. Still, all things considered, it was a better hour-long Nitro, so it earns a 3.5 out of 5.
Well, that was an abortion of a show. Should the mood take you, check out markoutradio.com and leave a comment. You can also find links there to our Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Stitcher channels. You can even leave a voicemail on our Skype. Just click the links and share them.